Hey guys, welcome to Newegg Now. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew Jane. I don't know about where you are right now, but here outside our office, it's around 30-something degrees Celsius. In my office, even with air conditioning, temperatures can get up into the high 20s. Now, while that's bad for me, it's even worse for my laptop, who's at an even greater risk of overheating. Now, like many of yours, my laptop does have a built-in fan. But when it's doing that much, with 20 tabs open and video and music, it can get a little bit too much for it. So, what's the solution? Well, obviously, the solution is unplugging it, turning it off, and putting it away for, a couple of days, going outside and doing something different. But what if you don't have that option? Well, in that case, what you need is a cooling fan solution. And fortunately for all of you today, I have that right here. This is the 1stplayer C6 laptop cooling pad. Big name on a big box. Subtle this monkey isn't. So let's take a look what's in the box. So, pretty straightforward with the content that's in the box. What do we have? Of course, you have an instruction manual. In this case, not entirely necessary, but hey, it's there. Then we have the USB power cable. Let me unwrap that for you. Ta-da! It's a power cable. And of course, we have the unit itself. Now, before we get into the practical features of this unit, what about the all-important initial impressions? Very light. You think a cooling fan of this size would be heavy, but nope, very, very light. There's no weight to this at all. Now, it is a very, very bold piece of equipment. I mean, this thing, it makes a statement. Minimalist, it is not. If you like bold, chunky electronics, this is definitely your monkey. And that's pretty much all there is to say about the initial first feeling. But what are the facts on paper? Direct from the manufacturer, this unit comes in at 380 by 280 by 60 millimeters, weighing just 1.2 kilograms. The 1stplayer C6 laptop cooling pad can fit laptops of up to 17 inches. It has a 1,800 to 2,500 RPM stepless adjustable mechanical fan. It's constructed in aluminium and plastic, hence the fact it doesn't weigh anything. It comes with an adjustable 3-angle stand and, as we just pointed out, it's USB powered, so it can be plugged into any USB-A port, whether that's your computer, the wall, or charger based. Finally, its manufacturer reported sound output is 24 to 32 decibels. That's going to be important, so make a note of that. So those are the manufacturer's details about the 1stplayer C6 laptop cooling pad. But what about the actual hands-on, laptop-on experience? I've been using the C6 for the past 7 days, around 7 or 8 hours a day, and this is what I can tell you. Firstly, that 1,800 to 2,500 RPM stepless adjustable mechanical fan. Yes, it is going to keep your laptop running cooler. Because of the age of my laptop, it normally, just with everyday use, runs hot. But it's even hotter right now, we're in the middle of summer. And so it gets even hotter and hotter, and you can hear the fan on the other side of the room. But when it was sitting on the C6, it was definitely cooler to the touch. Now obviously, I didn't do any thermal readings or anything like that, so I've got no real scientific numbers for you, but I could feel the difference in the laptop temperature compared to before I was using this. Before, if I would just touch the top of my laptop, you could physically feel the heat coming off of it. However, when I was using this at full power, it definitely changed the temperature of the laptop. The next thing to think about is the aluminium and plastic construction. Yes, it makes for a standout, shiny, lightweight unit. However, if you're a heavy striker like me, and you tap, 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 tap like this, you are really going to hear the hollow echo calling back at you. Now, this isn't going to be an issue for everyone, but it is definitely something to point out. When my wife was using this, you couldn't hear a difference. But when I was going at it, yeah, you could tell that. The hollow sound from here does go through. So it just comes down to how heavy you hit on your keys. So there you have it, the 1stplayer C6 laptop cooling pad. a one-stop shop for laptop cooling needs up to 17 inches. Is it for you? Well, if you like bulky, bold designs and don't mind a bit of audible air blowing at you, then yes, this is a great choice, with simple USB power and the flexible height options. Flexible height options. It can be set to 3 different heights, very simply. 1, 2, 3, done. And with adjustable power settings. It's not a huge change in power, but it will go from very, very light to not quite so light, depending on, again, how strong you need the airflow to be. The 1stplayer C6 laptop cooling pad is available now to buy at the link below. For more egghead analysis from Newegg Now, please be sure to click the follow and notify links below. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James. And now you know. Hey guys, welcome to Newegg Now. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James. If we've learned anything from this crazy year, it's that we, as a society, all need more than one way to stay in touch. Sure, emails and phone calls are great, but when you haven't seen your loved ones for days or even weeks, words and voices sometimes just aren't enough. What we want is to be able to be closer to those people in a more meaningful way, to better look into their eyes, see the smile on their faces, and actually feel like you're interacting with another human being, or your boss. Unfortunately, holodecks and the Oasis, Ready Player One, great book, read it, are still a long way away. So where does that leave us? Sure, most phones have a front-facing camera, which is great for video calls. But what if you need something for longer calls, or work meetings, or a tech addict anonymous session? Webcams, of course. Like phones, most modern laptops have webcams built in, but they're very often not exactly high spec and don't offer much in terms of flexibility or placement or angles or width of view or all those technical things. If you are looking to get more FaceTime, small f, small t, out of your web calls and meetings, perhaps you are in need of an upgrade. And wouldn't you just know it? I might have just the thing here for you. What are the chances? Introducing the NEK Tech USB video camera. So, let's start where all things, except paradoxes, time travel, and maybe subway trains do, at the beginning. What's in the box? An instruction manual, which, once again, has really tiny words, and the webcam itself. And there you go, that was simple. But many great things start with a simple reveal. So let's move straight along to the always and forever important initial impressions. The fact is, like with the reveal itself, there really isn't that much to be said. That's not a positive or a negative, it's just the fact that, well, it's a webcam. It feels very, well, webcam-y-like. Joking aside, when I received this unit, the first thing I actually noticed was the box it came in and the unit's tagline. Make your miss distance shorter. Grammatical issues aside, it's just nice. Like I said at the start, I'm sure that this year in particular, a lot of people have been feeling the distance between themselves and their loved ones, their friends, their clients, their colleagues, whoever. And this tagline just reminded me, as I'm sure it does you, that tech, like the NEK Tech USB video camera, does indeed try to help to make miss distances shorter, which can never be a bad thing. Apart from that, what else can I tell you of my initial impressions? Well, it does have a very streamlined look with no extra buttons or ports. Nothing to worry about, basically. The USB cable is very long, which 9 times out of 10 is always a good thing, and it's very light, which, considering the positions that most people will be placing the camera in, that's obviously good news. So that's what we have in our hands today. Before we take a deeper look at what this distance cruncher can actually do for us, let's take a look at what the manufacturer's fact sheet says. This is a full HD 1080 USB webcam. It's using advanced H.264 compression technology, it's plug and play with easy installation, and it has a built-in stereo microphone and noise cancelling. No fancy pants unnecessary fluff here. The NEK tech knows exactly what it is and what it's trying to achieve. Here I am, it shouts. Take me for what I am, no more, no less. Fair enough. Who's going to argue with that? Okay, so on to the nitty-gritty. Does the NEK Tech USB video camera live up to its understated promise of making missed distances shorter? Well, first a disclaimer. I, Andrew James, am not exactly a PC guy. Yes, here I am at Newegg Now, but PCs aren't my everyday work machines, and neither are Macs. As such, the first machine I tested the NEK Tech on was my trusty Chromebook. It took a bit of finagling, but I was able to get several apps to recognize the camera, including Skype and Zoom. On the Chromebook, it wasn't plug and play. But that is more an issue, of course, of Chrome OS than it is of the camera itself. Having said that, as soon as it was detected by the OS, the red power LED did come on, and when apps actually started using it, the light bulb LED turned green to indicate that it was being used. While I was using it, I was impressed by how wide the camera angle was, almost double that of the built-in laptop webcam. The colors were much richer and the image overall much sharper. Sound being picked up was a tad quiet when it was coming out on the computer of the person who was running tests with, but again, that could have been a Chrome OS issue. Secondly, I tried out the NEK Tech on my backup PC. On there, things were a lot more straightforward and it literally was plug and play. As soon as I plugged the camera in, it was picked up by the PC, drivers automatically installed, and it was available for use in about 3 minutes flat. All the programs I tested saw the camera straight away, and both image and sound were picked up clearly as possible. On both machines, using the attachment clip, it was easy to fit without issue and was easily adjustable, both horizontally, depending on how wide I used it, and by using the ball head of the unit itself. Plus, the rubber coating on the grip made sure that there was no grip damage or scratches while it was being positioned or moved or taken off. A useful extra feature on the underside is the universal mount, meaning it can be attached to any universal tripod or mount that you may want to use for a more professional or wider shoot by being further back. So there you have it, the NEK Tech USB video camera. One of those products that literally does what it says on the tin. So, is it for you? That simply comes down to your needs. Without extra distractions and bits and pieces to distract and concern with, this plug-and-play camera is great for anyone looking for a straightforward solution to video conferencing or online video calls with friends or family. It's no frills, and it doesn't claim to be. It has one function, and if that's all you need, it suits you perfectly. Like what you've seen? The NEK Tech USB video camera is available to buy right now at the link below. For more egghead analysis from Newegg Now, be sure to click the follow and notify links below. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James, and now you know. Hey guys, welcome to Newegg Now. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James. Portable devices are getting more and more powerful. They can do more powerfully and more efficiently. But one area of tech that isn't improving quite as fast is batteries. Of course, every year we are seeing better and better batteries, but not quite at the same pace as other portable tech is developing. One downside of that is the fact that portable device batteries need more charge more often. A few years back, when I was working internationally and was on a plane to different locations each week, I would need to carry multiple cables and plugs with me to ensure that everything could stay optimally charged. As the tech world slowly starts moving over to USB-C, we can hopefully start carrying less and less with us. But we still need to ensure we are getting the most efficient charge at the highest rate possible while not overburdening ourselves. And to that end, let me introduce you to the RAVPower 30-watt PD power adapter. Can this little box of magic provide you all the portable power you need? Let's find out. Okay, so that's the preamble out of the way. What's in the box? Well, obviously, there isn't really much crammed into this little thing. But what's in there? Well, first and foremost, introduction card. Just say, hello, RAVPower. Next up, the instruction manual. For what it's worth. I mean, it's a charger. What do you need to know? And then, the units themselves. They come in both black and white, obviously. Each box obviously only has one in it. So, yeah, that's what you get. But how about the all-important initial impressions? Well, what can I say about a device that's this small? Well, first and foremost, it fits in my hand. So yes, it's definitely tiny. You won't get this type of charger much smaller than this, but at the same time, it does have a kind of heft to it. There's a weight. It doesn't feel completely weightless, which for me is a good thing. I always like my devices to have some kind of, weight to them. It's got a very simple aesthetic, a very satisfying opening and closing feel to it. Hear that? It just sounds like quality. Sure, it doesn't do much, but what it does do, what it feels like, what it looks like, it's great. So that's what it's like in my hand, but what are the facts on paper? According to RAVPower, the 30-watt PD power adapter is a high-speed power delivery system that can charge an iPhone XS Max to 50% in just 30 minutes. It obviously has a compact size and is, as you saw just now, foldable for easy storage. It uses GaN tech and a Pi chipset to integrate more power control and protective functions into its circuitry. The RAVPower 30-watt PD power adapter is universally compatible, meaning it can charge basically anything up to 30 watts. Finally, this RAVPower unit includes overcharging, overheating, and short circuit protection. That's quite a lot of info for such a small box. But what of the actual hands-on experience? How do those manufacturer details translate into daily use? Obviously, some of those facts are a bit harder to put to test in a short term. I don't fancy trying to send 1,000 volts through my phone to see if the RAV30W will protect it. But RAVPower is a very well-established company, founded in 2011 and has been a mainstay of the device charging industry ever since. So they are a name you can trust, with years of products and happy customers to give you confidence in your purchases. What I can tell you though, is that I let 2 different phones go down to 0 charge, and then plugged them in to the RAVPower. The first phone, a Samsung 2015 phone with a 3300 battery, went from 0 to 45 in just 30 minutes. The second phone, a Samsung 2019 with a 4500 battery, went from 0 to 50% in 45 minutes. It's worth noting it does get hot while charging though. Not dangerously so, but it should be noted. So those are pretty good figures. So there you have it, the RAVPower 30-watt PD power adapter. A tiny device that packs a lot of power for many of your daily drivers. But is it for you? An important point to note is that this unit does not come with a cable. For most people, that shouldn't be an issue, as most will already have the prerequisite cables, and it's great to see that more companies are stopping sending out unnecessary plastic. But yes, despite those positives, it's definitely worth mentioning that no cable is included. Like what you've seen? The RAVPower 30-watt PD power adapter is available to buy now at the link below. For more egghead analysis from Newegg Now, be sure to click the follow and notify links below. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James, and now you know. Hey guys, welcome to Newegg Now. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James. There are certain things that we should all do as a priority every day, no matter what your schedule is for that day. Stretch, tell your loved ones how important they are to you, drink coffee, play with a puppy. These are the essential things in life. What's also of vital importance, both for your health and well-being, and the happiness of those nearest to you, is brushing your teeth twice a day. But wait, AJ, I hear you thinking about typing in the comments below. This is Newegg Now, not the health and happiness channel. But why, I ask you, must the two things be separate? Obviously, tech can help us on the path to health and well-being, and in some cases, even bring a whiter, brighter smile to our faces. And who wouldn't want that? Or perhaps more importantly, who could help us with that? Well, luckily for you, I have the answer to that question right here. Introducing the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush. I have used a lot of tech over the years, but I have never used an electric toothbrush. So I had no idea what to expect when I first received this, except for the fact that it was going to be a toothbrush, I guess. So with that in mind, what was in this box? We have the instruction manual, again with really tiny writing, but a lot of important safety tips, so make sure you read it. Next up, the charger. USB powered. Do you have a USB port in your bathroom? 2 brush heads, great for you and a partner, or just simply to have a spare. And they also come with covers for taking them out with you easily, and what the manufacturer calls the fuselage. Now, I'm not sure if that's the technical name. I personally would say the body or the handle, but if that's not the technical name, then hey, points for style. So there you have it. Pretty much what you'd expect to get with an electric toothbrush. So, what are my all-important initial thoughts on it? What can you expect your initial impressions to be? Let's take a look. First and foremost, when you open the box for the first time, you'll see that the layout is very minimal. Tidy, professional, and clean. Everything is separated into its own little unit. This isn't some tech that's just been wrapped in toilet paper and stuffed in a box. Trust me, it happens. The unit itself has my favorite tech feeling. It's a chunky monkey. It's not exactly light and airy, but personally, as you know, I appreciate weight like this. Like the packaging, the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush is very streamlined and clean, with rounded edges. It feels just as good in the hands as it looks. Even the different sounds it makes for each of its different modes are quite soothing sounding. I have no idea if that's intended or not, but it's just there. As for the heads themselves, they couldn't be more opposite of the fuselage chunky style. These things just look positively dainty. Personally, I use a very large-headed toothbrush, so these are quite different for me personally. The bristles also feel quite solid, so whether you're a fan or not, that's your personal preference. So those were my initial feelings about the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush. But what does the manufacturer say are the most important parts that you should know about this toothbrush? Number 1, high frequency vibration technology. 2, the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush has 4 brushing modes: cleaning, soft, whitening, and massage. Number 3, a built-in 2-minute timer pulses every 30 seconds. Dental associations around the world recommend at least 2 minutes twice a day, so this is a good way to remind yourself of that. Number 4, it has a memory mode, so that the brushing mode will not change after turning it off. Basically, it's going to remember what you did last time. Number 5, it is IPX7 certified waterproof. That's kind of what you'd be hoping for with tech in the bathroom, I guess. Number 6, the Mayze is charged via USB and can be used continuously for 40 days after being fully charged. So, as always, how do those details translate into actual usage and functionality? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. To be honest with you, it's a little bit difficult to objectively comment on something like a toothbrush, electric or traditional, because several of its functions, like whitening or plaque removal, really need long-term use to be able to comment on how effective they are. Of course, there are several aspects that I can comment on. First, there is definitely a difference between the different brush modes, one that can not just be heard, but can actually be felt. The different modes vary the speed the brush vibrates at, ranging from 31,000 on the massage mode to up to 40,000 on the whitening mode, and it's very easy to switch between the modes. The function button at the top is what you use, so to turn it on, you just press it once. Simple enough. And then within 5 seconds, you press it again and it will change to a different cycle. Keep doing that in 5 seconds and it changes to the next function. Couldn't be more simpler. And then you just turn it off. And with the memory function, when you turn it back on after last switching it off, the last function that you used will still be there. The 30-second pulse function is useful, but it is very brief. It will stop for 1 second and then carry on vibrating for another 30 seconds before finally turning off after 2 minutes. In the hand, that brief pause is very light, but it is much more noticeable when it's in the mouth. And if you're anything like me, you'll still be asleep when brushing your teeth in the morning, so that pulse would be very useful to remind you to move on to the next oral area to ensure thorough cleaning. Charging the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush is obviously super convenient. You have your charger, you pop it in, it charges. It doesn't get any simpler than that. There is no USB converter plug included, so you're either going to need to use one that you already have, or just plug it straight into the hub of your computer and you'll be good to go. Charging from empty to full does take about 12 hours, or longer if it hasn't been used for a long time. But as the battery lasts over a month with daily use, that shouldn't be something you need to do very often. So there you have it, the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush. Simply for the 2-minute reminder function and the 30-second pulse function, this is a useful product. We all know how important dental healthcare is, so anything that helps us remember that, or do it better, is definitely a good thing. Coupled with the 4 different settings, which means you can either use it for different reasons or that it can be used by different people with different oral sensitivities, ease of use and long battery means that the Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush gets a thumbs up. Like what you've seen here today? The Mayze Sonic Electric Toothbrush is available now to buy at the link below. For more egghead analysis from Newegg Now, be sure to click the follow and notify links below. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your resident egghead, Andrew James. And now you know.